Hello and welcome back to the LAMDA log. Term 4. This term is going to be really great because not all we're doing, but what we're mostly doing is just working on our Shakespeare scenes. So I have officially been cast in Much Ado About Nothing as Prince. What's my name? Don John. No, Don Pedro. If you're familiar with the Kenneth Branagh movie, I'm Denzel Washington's character. And if you're not familiar with that movie, then that means nothing to you at all. But so the 4 shows that we're doing this term are Macbeth, the Scottish play, Much Ado About Nothing, my play, and Twelfth Night, another comedy, and Julius Caesar. So I'm super happy about my team, about my cast. I am my director is Lawrence Evans, who taught us first term in our first acting and script analysis class. I think it was what it was called. I'm not sure exactly. But week 1, day 1, the 20th of July, 2026. This was a great thing. My flight got canceled. That was supposed to go into fly on Saturday night. Yes, Saturday night, and fly into JFK, and then from JFK to London. But the flight to JFK got canceled. So I had to reconfigure a flight and everything. And the one that worked was I flew to San Francisco, and then from San Francisco all the way to London. And then I wasn't able to get it till Sunday. And so I left at like 5 in the morning. Well, I woke up at like 5 in the morning to get to my flight that was 9 a.m. And then I got into London at 7:30 in the morning on Monday when classes started. So I was going to drop my stuff off at a friend's, but I had to like pass the school to do it. So I just brought my whole suitcase to the school, and I changed my clothes and I brushed my teeth and I called it a day, and I was like, we're in it. A lot of standing not to fall asleep, but we started with we started with a pro meeting because we have a production team and this is a full show. So Much Ado is the play with the second most amount of prose, second only to Merry Wives of Windsor. There are a few different meanings behind the word, because nothing would have been pronounced as noting, so noticing and like paying attention. And since it's all about like what people paid attention to, it's Much Ado about paying attention and what people are doing. Also, nothing was a Elizabethan slang term for the female genitalia, so it's Much Ado about that. And also just about, what it means to us, nothing at all, Much Ado About Nothing at all. So those are 3 different meanings behind the title. And then the design, it's going to be in an Italian, romantic garden, mostly completely in the exterior. So you're going to have like a little, I'll show you what I drew. So there's this little platform. It's in the thrust. That's the audience. And then it's going to have this like Roman-esque style like right here. And then you come forward, and then this is your playing space. And these 4 things are like planters. And it's going to be this garden. And those 4 things can move around and configure in different spaces. We're performing in the thrust, like I said. It's the summer of 1950s. It's the end of the war, but it's not World War II because we just won. So we're not Mussolini's fascists. But So when we come back, we're going to be like in green army clothes, and then we'll change into like suits and snazzy 50 clothes. Um, there'll be lots of florals, and women will have summer and wildflowers and dresses, and it's going to be like formal and structured Italian romance. Um, Lauren says he's very famous for cheap jokes, so he's going to put a lot of those in there, but with truth behind it. Looking for symmetry and balance of scales. Hero and Beatrice are teasing people with a frog that they have caught at the beginning. It's jovial, it's summer, and then it's interrupted by these men coming for more, bringing this masculine and this potential for violence. The goal is to have it be about an hour and 40 minutes. So we've cut some things down, which almost all Shakespeare shows I've seen of late have been abridged to some degree. And then the play is about formality and repression. We gender swapped Baraccio to Baraccia, which introduces some queer otherness, as well as Baraccia now is the one who flirts with Margaret. The old world is dying and the new one is struggling to be born. We are in the time of oh no, what did that say? Monsters. We are in the time of monsters, which is a famous quote from a Mexican socialist that I missed the name. But this is kind of the idea. We're in this time of transition and people breaking gender roles and expectations. And so, yeah, he wants us to find the Achilles heel of our character and use that as our I don't know what that says. Stayed obstacle. Look at how they woo other people. How does my character woo for Claudio? Hero's death is a complete social death, not a literal one. So when they kind of fake Hero's death and say, hey, you killed her, in some ways that's true. They killed Hero because by claiming that she was unvirtuous before her wedding, that's social death. She can have no future. We will create a world to play in, but always with Elizabethan manners and sensibilities. Then we took a little 15-minute tea break, which is delightful. Then we started a read through. A remembrance is that enjambed lines are discoveries, their continuations, connect those and hear the thought. So change pitch to some degree, right? And an enjambed line is when in verse at the end of a line, there's no comma or semicolon or colon or period. There's no punctuation. So it's just that. And so the next line is a discovery. It's like, and this, Caesuras are completed ideas that need a new tactic, thought, change of intention. Caesura is when there's a period in the middle of a line. And then enjambment shows the risk, right? Each new line of verse needs a new impulse. Shakespeare is filthy. We've cleaned him up, but it's full of innuendo. It's full of humanity. It's full of dingy grunginess. The language is so rich and full of rhetorical devices. So enjoy them, identify them, the alliterations, the assonance, the antitheses, the comparisons, all of these different things. Connected to thought. Connect to the thought. If you're connected to the thought, you will be connected to the breath, and then you will be connected to the intent. So always focus on the thought. Thought is the seed of all of this. Brits always use the French as the butt of their jokes, and then the French do it back. Then we had our lunch break, so we were just reading it through. During it, I laid down for a bit, and I slept probably 20 minutes. It was great. I just laid down on the ground because that night I got a couple hours of sleep maybe, and my body was so confused. Then we kept reading, and the connection is found in the consonants. Is that right? No. The conviction is found in the consonants. And pronounce it clearly. Don Pedro, okay, work through the weight, physicality of duty and loneliness. He wants us to pronounce it duty. I gotta think of my, got it. Duty. So he wants the English pronunciation, so we don't say duty, because he wants it to have a little more weight. Duty. Dew with that liquid U. Dew. Duty. Duty. Or you can just say duty, which is the other simplified, shortened version of that. He seeks out comradeship, camaraderie, I think is a better word. He's coming back from war to nothing. Duty is before all else. It's a sacrifice. It's what's expected. Need to overcome the loneliness that comes from duty. Think about the genuineness of his proposal to Beatrice. There's a moment where she's saying like, "Oh, you know, I would like to be married to someone of your seed." Like, does your father have any more siblings? And he's like, "What about me?" And that's genuine. He's looking for that connection and that. Remember who you're talking to. This is a little addition. And how that changes how you feel and interact with them. Then there's also the shame of Don John's bastardy, right? He is written in the play and spoken and identified, even in some versions, as like just the bastard. But when he enters, it says, and John the bastard. Let's see how it says his name. In the script itself, oh, it says Don John. But in some versions, this is the Folger Shakespeare Library. In some versions, that's just like his name. So like Don Pedro, my character, is just written as Prince, and he's just written as Bastard, because that's his identifying thing. And there was this social unrest between him, but now my character, Don Pedro, has forgiven him. So another great Lawrence quote is, "She's not the object of your desire, he's the object of your ire," which is just beautiful. I feel like that's in poetry, right? Talking about Don John towards Hero and Claudio, right? It's not that he's jealous or wants Hero, he just hates Claudio. And then we had a little costume fitting break, so we all went and got our measurements. Then we finished reading the script. With Shakespeare, we use the language to accomplish goals through tactics. We are playing human beings who walk and talk and live in this world. Thoughts connect everything. It connects breath and tactic and physicality. See the images as you speak them. If you're not playing a tactic, your pitch is flat. You can fake it with a pitch change if you don't have a tactic to change. So that's kind of like the cheat. If you don't know what to do, but there's punctuation, because punctuation shows a change of tactic, you can just change your pitch. For example, serve God, love me, and mend. That's kind of a list, actually. It is proved my lady Hero hath been falsely accused. The prince and Claudio mightily abused, and Don John is the author of all. Who is fled and gone? Will you come presently? So just change pitch there, and then it seems like you're changing tactics. That's the cheating way. Pretend until it becomes real to you. Then we had a little quick dinner break, and then we had a meeting because, of course, I wasn't able to go home and go to sleep. Is this a long meeting? Yeah, it is. Okay, so that was the whole day, and then I have like 7 pages of notes from our meeting, which was a professional prep with a casting director's Q&A. So our casting director friends who were there were Nadine Rennie, Sam Jones, and Carolyn Melian. I don't know what that is. Let me double check. Let me double check. Um. Okay. Whoa. Went too far. Went too far. Not bow stratagem. Okay. Carolyn McLeod. McLeod? McLeod. McLeod. Yes. Um. So Sam. Uh. Casting is her game. I wrote degree in philosophy. Um. Accidentally fell into casting. Started in stage management with in uni. Officially worked in sponsorship. Was head of casting at the RSC for a minute. Involved in theater, telly, and film. Um, and then Carolyn studied and traveled around Europe. Did a course in Westminster. Was really organized and got connected with. Got connected working with a disorganized director, and then from an art director to a script supervisor because she had a great attention to detail. And then her first experience with casting, did a really good job casting children, and so she did a great job casting children, and so she got a reputation that she was good at that. So she worked on the original Harry Potter films because there was a casting director involved, and then they had to drop out for some reason or something happened. And then she got there and she's like, okay, have you cast anything? They're like, no. And she's like, okay. So that's crazy. And then Nadine is specifically in theater of new writing. She was an English lit major. Um, she assistant directed a play that was called Be My Baby. Um, she says get to a place and show them that you are responsible, organized, and steady. Worked as a casting director at Soho for about 17 years, went freelance and has cast people in their jobs before they blown up. Like she started like giving people their first opportunity and then they became big. And so then the question is just running into them. Do new works come in with more developed casts already established? Not always, and not as much as before. Um, most most buildings, most I apologize. I was falling asleep during this. Um, it looks like buildings. Looks like bazildings. Most companies don't have a resident casting director. The big ones do, but that's kind of it. Lots of directors bring their own casting directors to whatever projects they're working on. What's the difference in casting for TV, film, and theater? Telly is the most literal, casting more to type. So if you show up and you don't look the part, they're less interested. Theater is the most you can play against type. American producers are all very literal. They like to cast based on vibes and looks. So dressing accordingly is very important in US jobs. Show yourself first and show the transformation into the character in the room. So like meet them and be like, hey, this is me. And then the character, whatever that might be. There is an more expectation to transform in film, but most out of typecasting is in stage theater. Um, sorry, one second. Yeah, and then the American casting director averages like 150 per audition. The UK theater is like 7 to 10 per day. And is the average per day. And then the UK is like 15. And Sam says like the most that she would do a day is like 25. And so like American is just different level. It's just like boom, 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 doing so a day. And so it's more important to do something to catch their eye. They want to see you walk into the room, one. 2, they want to see that you've prepared, you did your reading and your research. 3, they want you to bring offers, and 4, they want you to play notes. That's what matters. At the end of the day, that's what's important. If you're there, they already like you and want you to succeed, slash be perfect, right? They want you to be perfect for their role. Make sure you can take a note. Do your homework. Wait. Oh, do you have the creative flexibility? You need to work quickly and efficiently. Be the best person to work with. Why does the US get so many more auditions? There are 90,000 people on Spotlight. So that's just in the UK kind of focus, and there's 2,600 submissions for a horror film that one of them worked on. Casting directors will go through and analyze and make lists of yes, no, maybe. Some casting directors are following the US quantity over quality to find the right people. So they just make their specifications on Spotlight really wide. And then social media and marketing is becoming more important. It is definitely in the US, but not as much in the UK, but it's growing in importance. So when submitting yourself, it is worth it is it worth it to write a message to the casting director? If it's very specific and applicable, sure. Some people are really interested in the about section on Spotlight, right? Keep it up to date. Be honest about all your skills. That's super important on Spotlight. What makes a decision for a callback? A combination of everything. Like for example, sometimes they'll ask like, oh, did they talk to the receptionist and were they rude? Like, how were they in the room? Audition starts as soon as you're in the building and interacting with anybody. Can be exceptions when a producer cherry picks a specific person, right? Sometimes a producer will be like, I like this person, they're going to be in it, right? And then it doesn't matter as much. But how much does social media factor in? Nadine, with her stage and new work, doesn't care at all. Carolyn says producers will care and ask about social media. So like followers and stats and stuff. Actors will have to tweet or post a certain moment by contract. Also, what not to post. Sam pokes around just on Instagram to find new people, but not overly connected. And then NDAs and other things can really restrict posts and other things. So it's good to have a separate, like a separate social media for your professional and your personal, because it can be dangerous, just in the sense that one, people can figure out about you and follow you and stuff, and then the other side of it is that like you could have an opinion that someone doesn't like. So just like keep to yourself, curate it, and be aware of others' bad intentions. Americans working in the UK. That's the question I wrote. Lots of US projects are shot in the UK with whoever is available. Oh, it's just like, is there space for Americans working in the UK? Don't worry too much about accent work. Do your own well and know that there are a ton of RP actors here. There are a lot of West End shows that need American accents. Don't worry about accents. The extension of disbelief is bigger on stage. How long does it take from casting to performance? It all depends on the show and the project. Zoom is available even if you've moved to the States. Theater is the most reliable timetable. If they want to meet you in person, still probably give you like 7 to 10 days to figure it out. You're required 3 days prep for auditions and callbacks based on union rules. There are spreadsheets and records for everything, so fewer is better for them. I don't know what that means. Yeah. Just keep things succinct and to the point, I guess. How to navigate your identifiers versus your perception, right? Put up a video doing accent or representation. So like if I can do a Southern accent because I grew up in the South, I have a video with that in there on my Spotlight. This came from a girl who is from Scotland. Well, she was born in Scotland and her family's Scottish, so she can do Scottish, and it's natural, it's native to her, but that's not how she speaks every day. And the question was like, should I put on the accent? And there's a star for your native accent. So if that's truly true to you, right, you can have that, but don't have a bunch of them. Don't be like, I have 6 different stars and 6 different native accents. Sam has told some to put on an English accent for a whole audition once, but that was just because she knew the director um, didn't like Americans, didn't had a negative perception about Americans performing, and knew that this person had a really good English accent, and so he did it for the whole audition, and then he booked the role, and then he started speaking his American, and he was like, "Oh, I see what you did there," but it wasn't a big deal. There are frequently dialect coaches available, so it's what it is. How much cross genre casting happens all the time? Happens great. Don't add or change words or punctuation. Text is king. That's just in general um, when you're acting. Uh, do it according to the text. Text is great. There are no secrets. Everything that's being said it's already known. We know everything. It's mostly common sense. There's no secrets. That's like, this will get you the job. Trust your gut and maintain your integrity. You can say no, right? Trends are usually made up by business people who want to make up stories, and so trends aren't always true. They're just trying to put a narrative to history, which doesn't always fit. Super important. Show up on time, do your work, trust yourself, keep working, improving. This is a very long journey. Keep working. Keep your integrity. Get back into the theater. Watch these brilliant actors doing shows. Stage actors are always the best on screen. Try to do theater once a year. That's something that Danny Mays always focused on. That's something I'd like to do. If I get into film or television or anything, I'd like to go back to the stage as much as I can. What do you ask in the room? Any questions you have, ask them. Interrogate. It's you're auditioning them in a way to see if you're good for the job when it comes to casting directors and things. Asking the director a good question can help you calm your nerves as well. When you're able and provided, read everything, the whole script, read the whole thing. The script is Bible. Watch the show to get the tone down if it's for telly or something. Research, do as much research as you can. Can you get in the room without representation? Not always. Representation is important. When you write to anyone, keep it to 4 lines. Exclude what is given, right? So you don't need to be like, "Hi, my name is this and that," because that's going to be in your signature and your spotlight. Keep it short, keep it specific, keep it to the point. These people get emails and letters every day that are trying to what's the word, bribe them, I guess, persuade them to cast them, like, for example, you can say, "Hey, I love this thing about you. I'm in the show here. Would love it if you could come. I heard you're doing this and I have experience in this. Let me know." Super straightforward. Put a headshot in your email signature, and there are no open call show up. There are no open call show up auditions. That's just, I guess, not typical. And then you got to hustle. You got to do the work. You can reach out to be readers for auditions. That's a good way to get your face known and kind of like show your work a little bit. For graduates, they've lost jobs by arriving late. Show up 15 to 30 minutes early. What are your favorite or least favorite things? What were their favorite or least favorite things? Sending things as bribes. There was somebody who sent a bunch of tea bags, and they're like, "That's stupid. Stop sending me tea bags." Multiple pitches that are slightly different. Multiple pictures that are slightly different. So if you have a headshot that's like this face, but it's like that, just have one picture. An up-to-date spotlight is huge, right? Honest specificity. Show reels and voice reels are great. Photos looking like you. Put in different look pictures of decent quality. Share them with your agent. So, like, for instance, if it's a beard thing and you have a decent picture that you can be like, hey, this is what I look like with a beard, you can put that in there. And you don't have to get like professional pictures all the time. It's something that actors love to do because it feels like control. It's like, oh, I need to get new headshots. But it's like a waste of money sometimes. And then sometimes asked to send a specific immediate selfie. It's like, hey, what do you look like right now? Boom, sent. Staged reading and workshops count as projects for Spotlight. Okay, you can put those on there. How do you go about producing your own work? It's not a turnoff to wear multiple hats, at least not in the UK. You should add everything to your resume. The best thing to do when not working on a big project is to produce your own work. Make your own stuff and invite your friends, invite people to it. Sam loves people doing their own work. And so does Jane, and Nadine hates it in a performance aspect. Um, like when it's um, like in a reel or in a showcase situation. Don't do a scene from Libertine. Everybody's doing that. I don't even know it, but I'm going to avoid it. Develop your artistic taste palette, right? See stuff. What do you like? What projects do you want to be involved in? People ask you, what are you watching? What are you interested in? Stay in touch with the trades and what is going on. This is just your job. Develop your relationships, friends, family, those you want to keep close. Casting directors never don't want us to be the one. We're here to solve their casting problem. Go to BBC Waiting Room online and prioritize and producialize, practicize. Go to BBC waiting rooms online and something your self tapes. There are scripts on there. I think it's just practice your self tapes. There are scripts on there that you can do. And that was the gist of it. They're lovely, a great, great, wonderful people. And that was day one. And then I was able to get home, and my my friends were in town, and I talked to Emma. I went to bed later than I wanted to, but we did it. Day one done. So I hope y'all have a wonderful day, life, journey. I'll be right back at this with day 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, not 6. Okay, love.